Right back at you, lovely. Give me a second. I want to grab one more thing. Because it's on. Give everybody a chance to log on.
Most of the serial killers were Sagittarius, Gemini, and Virgo,
Oh, really, mother?
and Pisces.
Oh, really? Islam, Mo.
No Capricorns.
No Capricorns.
Those four, they all serial killers.
I ain't no serial killer. I will be a serial killer.
All right, all right. Yep, I'm good. Peace, Mose. Peace. Giving everybody a chance to log in. Islamism to everyone. Hey, like I say, Moors, no disrespect to no one. Like I say, what we are, the Burning Bush Tabernacle, Moorish Science Temple and School, and what we're doing, we are bridging the gap with Moors nationwide, because the internet and all this social media is supposed to be our network. So our network is our net worth. So like I'm asking all Moors, I'm gonna say it again, I'm not here for likes, I'm not here for followers. But Moors, if you come on my page and you hear more than once or twice or three times, just say if you was at my temple, and I like to talk to people because I'm a real person. If you was coming to the temple and I'm feeding you and you like what I'm saying, would you give a donation? And what we ask is nothing that will be a burden. We ask for a $5 donation if you like what we saying. That's all. Because we have members and students. And all I'm saying, if I was coming to your temple, if I was coming on a more page that was a real educator in the world, and not on here trying to lie to people and sell people false things, and he's teaching and educating, and you come to the temple, I would give a donation every time I come, especially if the more would teach every day. Man, I'd be at the temple every day and I'd give a donation every day with no problem. And for me and my family, I guarantee you it'd be, for me, and I'm just speaking from the heart, it'd be way more than $5 a day. If I'm coming to your physical temple and you giving me this word like I'm giving my brothers and sisters education and history and how we build it and how we have members now, and we're gonna have 100 members and we're gonna change this world. And I'm saying, if you're not a member and it's not, and Allah didn't put it on your heart to be a member, and that's fine. But if you're on our page and you like what we're saying, you won't give a $5 donation? And that's all I'm asking. And so what I tell Moors and other light seekers and truth seekers, I give you 3 to 5 times to be on my page to listen without giving a donation. After that, I'm gonna delete you. It's just what it is, man. That's all. And it's no disrespect to no one. I'm not here for no debates. I'm an educator. I'm teaching us how the laws protect us and how we can build our own, how the religious laws protect us, how we have a right of a nationality, how our religious and charitable contributions can go to build our infrastructure legally and lawfully, just like every other body of people. We must know this, man. So I wanted to be clear with that. Man, we're going to teach some history today. But before I do that, I want to do our Moorish American prayer. I want to do my Talesman benediction. And then I want to show Moors my books and the hats that I have. Like I have some more hats. And I show you with the donation for the hat, you get some of my PDF books as well. If you want all of my PDF books for a $50 donation, I'll PDF all 8 books to you. But let me get into this real fast. I encourage Moors to be students and members because, like I said, I'm giving it. I think all of the new students will have their books in about 2 weeks because I've been shipping fezzes and turbans, fezzes that are in our books out. Because our students and members, I have 7 books of Moorish science books that I give Moors, and then that's the, how can I call it, the 32 degrees of science. I teach you about the history, the law, international, local, state, and then I give you the 32 degrees of science and give you the history of the fez and what the symbology and the perforation is all about. And if you want to become a student and a member, I will send you an email of the PDF and our syllabus. If Allah didn't put that on your heart, if you just want to give a basic pledge and help us build our temple, which we're going to have it, whatever Allah puts it on your heart to give monthly, I think you should do it. And I will always PDF you literature. So let's get with this Moorish American prayer and our warning from our prophet. And then I'm going to show you a couple of my merchandise and my books. Of course, y'all Moors, if y'all interested in fezzes, you know we have them. All our members and students that come with your membership package. If anybody wants fezzes from me, you know we have them with the proper ones. It's a $90 donation. So let's get with this Moorish American prayer and the warning. But our prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read the proclamation at each meeting. Moors, I hope y'all be clear when we be saying governors. We're not trying to overthrow no government, all that stupid stuff, all that domestic terrorist garbage these Negroes be talking about, acting like they got their own so-called shadow government. That's garbage. We don't play that game, man. We are Moorish Americans, and we're not outside of no law. We got to stop taking words out of context. And I mean, it's no disrespect to no one. I mean, especially with Moors, we talking about their, and this is the thing that I ask Moors, man. We all should be, how can I say, experienced. And a person just can't say they homeschooling their children if they don't have any scholastic about themselves. I mean, you can't fake it. Because when we sit down with your children, man, it doesn't mean nothing if they don't know any history, anything that's real. So that's what we're supposed to do, man. We're supposed to fall under the right auspices and really be educated. So our prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read the proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work or in their homes or in the streets. Do y'all hear that, Moors? Y'all hear that? He said, stop. He say, stop all that radical agitating speeches while at work, in your homes, or in the streets. Huh? That's what our prophet's telling us. Are we crazy? Are we going to continue to listen to these goofballs do all that garbage? And then try to say what we don't need to be, and like we don't need to covenant with each other and be a people and understand the true strength in numbers. They want you to act like to be a rogue Negro. No, we're gonna fall under the right auspices and do things the right way, and show the rest of these Moors what it is about to fall in line under righteousness. I'm telling y'all, man, some brothers gonna miss out on it. I'm showing us how we take our rightful place back in history, in law, in business, and when we do things as a people and as a religious organization and a community, man, we can become self-sufficient and we can show the people. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work or in their homes or in their streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. Y'all have to understand that. So anybody that's doing that, flashing cards, act like them cards mean something to law anything, I'm gonna tell you for a fact, you have been lied to. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. What our cards are for, our travel ID, our nationality card, and our tax exempt card is strictly for the Moorish Science Temple of America only. Those are our membership cards. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. And if any other sheik telling you any different, he's lying. I demonstrate this. The work hasn't been finished. It's been put on alert, but we haven't put it finished. We must continue to proclaim, declare, and have due process. 30,000 Negro, blacks, and color, misnomer Mexicans, Latinos need to sign a petition, declaim, and have due process, and take this to the World Courts of Netherlands. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Everything else is uncivilized. But remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. Thank for the donation, Moore. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. What'd he say? Oh, I got two things going on, man. Oh, it's Cash App, $ KG Bay. Yeah. I got a group of Moors that I deal with in the state. You know, I don't like to say people's names, but yeah, it's Cash App, $ KG Bay. We're gonna change this whole paradigm. When I show y'all gonna be amazed when we do this meet and greet. When I show y'all who's under the real auspices. That's what I said. I don't expose it, but I'm telling you, we're going to change this whole thing. We're going to clear our whole own house up. And we're supposed to do that. But any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where either prophet found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. By the order of the prophet Noble Drew Ali. Now look, y'all, I got something on. Let me read something my homie just sent me. He was like, Noble, I don't want to be all up in everybody's business, but he was like, the food that you feed us is amazing. He like, I done been part of the Moorish Science Temple for almost, he was like, all my life. Never got none of this science. How you demonstrated even the teachings. Never got none of the duality of the science. None of the teachings. You know. None of the teachings. Wow. Oh, but what he was saying is about how what's important to us and where do we spend our finances. Like, for instance, when I say when Moorish come on the page and we would go to the movie and club pop and give our money to people and we would come home and be like, how was it? All it was whack. And we would go to 5, 6, 7, 8 clubs in one night and give our money and drink them watered down cheap drinks. And then when we're getting real food, we won't give our brother a donation. And that's what he's saying. And that's why I said, I'm going to show you, I have some real supporters all over the world. I got a homie in Germany, Moors, and they some of the biggest donors, man. Like I said, I always give gratitude, man. They was like, this is something that we should all be doing. And once we be a part of this, and once every Moor understand what I'm doing, man, we change this whole world. We ain't got to talk about what nobody else doing. We can have the grandest the Burning Bush Tabernacle Moorish Science Temple that you ever seen in Arizona. And then we can have subordinate temples and schools in your area, right in your neighborhood. So that's what, you know, a lot of my brothers, a lot of elders that I deal with, they'll be like, you set up a real school, like you're a real nonprofit, like we can give donations just like a church. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and we under a certain tax exempt status. We're tax exempt, federal, charitable, religious, scientifically, educationally. I hope Moors don't even know what that means. They can share homeschooling down all they want to, but our charter or our tax exempt status, that don't matter. We're tax exempt, federal, charitable, religious, educational, scientific, meaning what? We can teach our own people, meaning what? The religious laws protect us. Y'all better understand what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. And if you don't, you need to be educated on this, man. I promise you. It's a good time to be a Moorish American. If you understand law and if you understand international law, it's a great time to be a Moorish American, man. You must understand this. Because being the Moor, there's nothing illegal about it. Now we get that sovereign citizen and all that garbage, then that's where we have a problem. So we're going to do our Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Islam Moors? All right, see you later, ISIS. Islam Moors? Hey, watch this, y'all. This is for your children. So, how do I like to say this when I say you've been miseducated, just like Carter G. Woodson said. And when you a real sheik and adept, you must be able to teach all levels of history and science. With that being said, before we get into that, Moors, the $47 donation, you get a hat and 2 PDF copies of my book. We got them in a couple colorways right now. We can ship them out to you. We got them in the gray, blue, and black. What color is these right here? This the black, red, and I think blue. We're gonna have the compression shirts done real soon. I made this colorway for one of my homies. His daughter, she had the little shoes to match, so we did that. We got a couple of that colorway. And see, and everything is donations, man. Because when people be a part of our organization, and it's tax exempt, just like if you was a part of anything else. I'm telling y'all, man, we do things legally and lawfully. Okay, I think I showed you those colors. Okay, let me see the other colors I got. Hold on. I mean, we coming, man. We gonna have our own merch. When I told Moors, when our web page is done and finished, we're gonna be off YouTube. We're gonna be off Instagram. All you're gonna get is like a little snippet, and the snippet, it would direct you to our page. And like I said, if you're not a student or a member, you won't have free access. If you want to see some of the lectures, you'll be able to go in there and see a snippet, and then it'll be a certain donation to help us continue to build, to help us do work for the community. That's the only reason why I ask Morris every time we speak, at least give a $5 donation, because it's going to build, and you get a tax exempt receipt. It's not going in my pocket. So as we continue to get big and big, brothers and sisters that may need some help, that probably won't have all the funds to do something, we'll be able to help. And that's what I'm trying to show us, man. The strong better the infirmities of the weak. We can do this, man. I'm telling you, I've done it on a small level. Now it's time to do it big. Look, we got the green colorway. We got the green and red colorway. Woo! That's one of my favorites right there. That green colorway. And then we got, let me see. I know I had another colorway. Oh yeah. I got this one. We got that one. We got those. You know what I'm saying? And when I get the compression shirts to match, we're gonna be matching the hats and the compression shirts. I'm talking about our workout clothes. We get ready to have that done. Our hoodies, everything that we need for us, our basic wear, we're gonna provide in-house. So where our Moorish dollars can circulate. I'm gonna create our own Moorish like Angie's list. So everybody that have items to sell, we're not gonna deal with nobody. And we're gonna give a percentage of our sales every month to our organization. That's what we're gonna do. That's how we're gonna build our infrastructure, man. I'm telling you. So right now we got 4 different colorways I showed y'all of the hats. So for a $47 donation, you get a hat and you get 2 PDF copies of my books. Now, if you want all of the books PDF copy, it's a $50 donation. When I tell Moors, I don't burden my brothers and sisters, man. Like, I publish all my books. I'm a self-author. I print my books, everything. That's why I don't have none of my books and stuff on Amazon. I don't have to give Amazon no money. And that's what I tell Moors. If you want an item from me, you can deal directly with me. I'm just like Lamborghini or Bentley. If you want a Bentley, come to the Bentley dealership. We ain't got to promote it. I'm talking to you right now. And that's what I'm saying. We don't got to deal with no third party and give our finances nowhere for we can promote our stuff on their page. Why? I don't care about that. I care about the people that I'm dealing with. That's why I tell Moors, I don't care about selling items to the whole Moorish world. This is for my people and for us that understand what we're doing and that's like-minded, that's on the same vibration. I hope y'all follow me, because in a minute I'm going to be gone. I'm telling you. And the people that's with me, we're going to be gone. So, one of the books is The Black Scholars Who Debunked the Eurocentric Propaganda. Our children need to know this science. When I say everybody have a gift from Allah, my gift that Allah gave me is education and scholarship. And being studious, this is my thing. I mean, I master certain things, man. The mind, body, and the soul. It took a while, but that's what mastery takes. I'm telling you. And there's no reason to hate our own brother from self-mastering. We'll look at other people and wow at them, and won't look at the self-mastery. I told y'all, man makes money. As long as man make money, we gonna be able to get some. Don't you know the rich man was spending his wealth and trying to figure out who he is and why the great God Allah created him and his purpose? That's when I tell guys, you not a king until you have a queen. You just a good dude. You got to understand this, what I'm telling y'all, man. Our delectable vegan treats. We made our own vegan cookbook. Every Moor should have this, man, supporting what we're doing. 14 famous Asiatic scientists in history. But before you got to get it. I don't even want to say any names. I just want you to get it and you read it. 14 famous Asiatic scientists in history. I guarantee you didn't know about 90% of the people I'm talking about in here. I guarantee you. Sufism and the triple roles of the adapt chamber, featuring the Command and Adapt manual and the use of our carpenter tools. We must have this science. I'm telling you, Moors. And we must read the science. Moorish American Light of Ali and the Moorish Adapt Study Guide, the House of Ali, Mysticism, the Egyptian Adapt, Prophet and Angel. You must read the science. Thanks for the donation, man. I told y'all our interpretation of the divine creed of Moorish Islam. You must have that. Moors, we can't be afraid to support our brother that's doing something real, man. Because we're going to take off, man. I promise you. I promise you, man. And everything is legally and lawfully. Moors must understand this. The pennies we have can make dollars and can make millions. And we can teach our people and our children. We can leave a legacy, man. We can have our grand temple. I can take the model and show you how we can have our small subordinate temple in your city, right in your neighborhood. Who gonna support it? We are. We have our temple out here and our acres out here, something to come to and vacation, our stuff. I'm telling you, man, I'm transparent. I'm transparent every quarter. We are a real business. We are a nonprofit organization. Our religious and civic organization, man, the laws protect us. The only way we're going to have something as a people is fall under the right laws and auspices, Moors. I'm telling you, you must understand this, man. You must understand this. You must understand the only way to get out the fire is to go through the fire. I promise you. And when you see that the laws protect you, and we wrote some of these laws and constitutions, what we must do is organize. I'm telling you, man, that's the only way. Everything else is garbage. We must, man, I don't understand why every Moor want to diss something. We have things called righteous kings or righteous leaders. We must believe in something. We must believe in someone. We must believe that God works through man or one man. We must trust, man. We would never have nothing. Everything takes an assumption of risk. Everything. Your relationship, it took some assumption of risk. Think about it. Think about these factors, man. So I want us to be clear. Islam Moors? Talk to me. So, The first question I want to ask Moors. And we get into these teachings, because these is real education. I'm giving you some prehistory. Y'all should be sharing this. This stuff should go viral. This ain't no, I ain't no Moorish entertainer. I'm a Moorish educator and adept. Webster's 1828 dictionary, right? Islam Moors? Webster's 1828 Webster's dictionary. So we about to go, we're going to turn the page. We're going to turn, well, I don't even know what number it is, but we're going to American. And I'm about to read what an American is to you. And then I'm going to show you some things. And we must be clear, because this is how we educate. So we don't get caught up in no garbage or no Negro-centric or no Eurocentric propaganda or no pseudo-academia or no Western thought process. I speak from a silver tongue with surety. Why? Because I've been through the fire in academia. That's how I'm telling you. And I spoke just like this and corrected that garbage. So American is a noun, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals, or copper colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I can talk about some other stuff, Eber and all that, but I want to stay on topic. American, copper color races, right? So I'm going to show you something, Moors. See, this is the thing in academia when I tell Negroes, they would, see, you got a lot of miseducated Moors, and the Moors that be in their lower feelings when they use words to other Moors like COINTELPRO and agents because they don't like what someone's saying. And I'm like, man, I know what a real COINTELPRO is and what a real agent consists of. See, what Moors what fail to realize is they giving themselves own titles and calling themselves scholars, and they're not doing no real history. They're not doing no real peer-reviewed scholarly research, because history and law, man, it's only one history and law. There's no whole bunch of different history and law where we can all walk out the house and be like, okay, yep, he right. No, it's only one right in history and law and spirituality. What is it? Things that we can prove. If we can't prove it, we need to shut the hell up. Because everything else is dogmatic, connotated, subjective. You need to know the difference from subjective and objective, connotated, dogma, religious garbage. So, when I show you stuff in the Library of Congress, and when I show you stuff that all scholars, professors, everything, when they sit at the round table with me, when I was in finishing my dual master's degrees at GCU, and we used to have the scholars round table, all professors. And I said, I'm gonna create my own school. That's why I went and got my bachelor's degree in business and nonprofit startup, and my master's in first century history and religion. You know, finishing my Juris Doctor degree in Indigenous People Law and Policy. See, these is the things that we must know so we can be sure and speak on things from scholarship. So when people be talking about America and Westernness, I said, man, everybody know what an American is. I gave it to you. And when I started bringing out all diaries from the Library of Congress about Columbus, what they know where they was at. So a lot of things they tried to whitewash. A lot of stuff is hidden in religion. Just like in the book of Maccabees, how the Gentile, the heathen, tried to whitewash themselves in the history books. And then I show you an ancient book that I have called Russian Icona by Vladimir Ivanov. And you see, no disrespect to no one, how the European is painting things, or the whitewashing era. I show you this stuff in history. This is nothing fake, man. You got to research this. This is the time when they call it the medieval times and the dark ages. It was their time. So we talk about America being the latest and most accurate description of the new world. When I show y'all pictures, see, they try to put stuff in black and white, but see, I have the stuff. This is what they were showing. This is what they were putting on the shoulder. You see that turban with them feathers on it, and then you read in the biblical scriptures, the followers of Yahshua wore turbans and jewels and feathers on their head and bonnets. And the only difference you can tell from a so-called Hebrew and an Egyptian was the clothes they wear and how we kept the beards on the side of their face, the Hebrews. We were the same people. I'm trying to tell you, we believed in all the laws and the prophets. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, they got us set tripping like we some damn Crips and Bloods. I'm telling you. You got Hebrew Israelite, gods and earth, all these Negroes talk about this, that, and the other. I'm like, man, y'all are crazy. That's why I don't get into no history and no historical proof with no Negro that just reading religion and then they don't understand the essence of religion. Y'all got to know, formerly the whole world was known by no other names than Asia, Africa, and Europe. In the manner, when you research scholarship, when I talk about Diodorus, Siculus, this is stuff that we study in scholarship. Diodorus, Siculus. He undertakes to prove that America was known to the ancients, telling the story how the Phoenicians, who were the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, the Phoenicians, I connect all them dots, were driven by a storm from the coast of Africa westward, falling at last upon a great and altogether unknown island, which our later expositors take for America, right? Must it therefore be so? For it only a bare story without any proof? The endeavor to make Aristotle bluster up their opinion, right? The opinion that he had a knowledge of this new world, which with no small pains they pump from the words beyond the Herculean pillars. Certain Carthaginians, merchants, penetrate the Atlantic Ocean so far that at last they found a vast yet uninhabited island producing nothing but herbage, plants, and wild beasts, yet interlaced with many meandering rivers, abounding with several sorts of fish, lying some days' sail from the continent. They landing, found a soil so fertile and air so temperate that they settled and were the first planters of the isles. But the Carthaginians, having intelligence thereof, prohibited all persons whatsoever, upon pain of death, to go there, fearing the place being so much commended. That's right, Moore. All people would be ready to flock there, and desert their own, and the other unfurnished, right? To try to build the growing commonwealth. But how the Carthaginians find America without the use of the compass? I'm telling you. How did it happen? That when they were so taken with the fertility of their newfound land, when the adjustment or the connection of the countries and fields about Carthage are everywhere flourishing and most luxurious. I'm telling y'all, we ain't come out of no damn caves. I don't want to even stay all into that, man. I mean, I can connect all these dots to show you. Man, no disrespect. The European, no disrespect. The Albion, y'all got to know this. I'm telling you scholarship. Your kids been lied to. You've been lied to. African American history, that stuff you get in college is garbage. I destroyed that on a college campus. That's why I know, I'm telling you. A lot of my elders are professors. And I had to do my dissertation and prove that was pseudo-academia. That was my whole dissertation. I destroyed Socrates, Plato's, Aristotle. That was my whole dissertation to show that European stuff is all stolen legacy. No disrespect to nobody. I mean, I can show y'all so much. The pictures, but see, the pictures be in black and white. But I don't want to stay too deep in this. Because I want to get into the teaching. Because I'm already 30 minutes in, but we gonna teach it. We gonna teach on this. I'm gonna dig all through this for y'all. I want to show y'all some stuff. When I show y'all in the beginning, when they say in the beginning the world was black or the world was dark, what do you think they talking about? What do you think they talking about? They talking about this right here. They talking about this right here, Moors. They talking about this right here. I promise you. And they try to change things, but I'm telling you, it's there. That's why I said I'm coming from scholarship, man. We're going to take our rightful place back in history and scholarship. I'm telling you, man. And when you organize under the right auspices, you can't lose. Do you see what I'm showing y'all, Moors? Do you see what I'm showing y'all? I'm telling you. In this first chapter, revealing America's dark-skinned past, in the first chapter, I'm just going to summarize it for you. It's a trailblazing depiction of the lesser-known history of America's dark-skinned indigenous people, now referred to as African Americans and Afro-Latinos, red silver fox, thunderbird men's, together, indigenous oral history, primary sources, archaeology, and extensive research to paint a vivid picture of the original groups that resided in the Americas, in the shadows of the continents past, which include both Mongoloid and Negroid groups. Revealing America's dark-skinned past exposes the true history of the indigenous Americans, in contrast to what we have been told in schools and what has been presented in entertainment. This miseducation and reclassification of the original people span over hundreds of years, but Thunderbird lays out impressively how this identity transformation occurred. The science reveals hidden knowledge that shatters the accepted concept of the transatlantic slave trade and makes one question the African identity given to the Black Americans and Afro-Latinos, revealing America's dark-skinned past. That's what our prophet told us. I'm telling you, he was giving something back to us. I'm telling you, man, I don't want to stay all into it, man, but with the science, I'm going to teach on it because I got to give the lecture. But I'm just setting highlights for y'all. But we don't get it twisted, man. We are people. The mound builders was us. The first Americans, or the first people were Africans or Americans. I'm going to show y'all that. I'm going to show y'all who the mound builders was. I'm telling you, the scholarship, where you should be showing your kids. And we should be walking in pride and honor with our fezzes on and our turbans on. When I'm going to show y'all stuff that they won't show our babies, that they got locked up in personal museums and things. I'm going to show y'all stuff all over. I'm going to show y'all how to Olmec, all of it, all same people. I'm going to show y'all the Olmec throne. I'm going to show you the La Venta. The complex is believed to have been in its grander form in 1500 BCE to 1200 BCE. It is consisted of several conical and platform mounds, along with have been the thrones for the rulers, and the monuments consisting of 3 colossal heads. The centerpiece of La Venta is the Great Pyramid. This pyramidal mound stands today, that's right, stands today over 3,000 years after being built at 110 feet high with a diameter of 459 feet, and it covers an area of 2 square miles. It is the largest mound found in North America. The entire La Venta complex is built 8 degrees west of north, the same as the pyramids of Gaza and Egypt. Y'all know that, right? Y'all didn't know that? Same people. And y'all gonna let these goofballs tell y'all we a different people. We ain't no damn minority. This is the stuff that you don't see. This is the stuff that you will never see. Because your teachers, your educators, they don't know it neither. They've been taught. The Olmec culture was first characterized as an art style through artifacts which collectors purchased in the late 19th century and early 20th century. All over. The most recognized Olmec artifacts, however, are the colossal heads, which were first discovered in 1862. In 1862, 17 of these heads has been discovered so far, as they all were completely buried underground. Each head is unique and carved out of one solid piece of volcanic basalt. The only source of this basalt is from the Tuxtla Mountains, which are over 100 miles away from the La Venta complex. And because of the size of the heads, man, and their weight, some are up to 9 feet tall, man, and weigh between 25 and 55 tons. And no one knows exactly how they were transported from the mountains to the complexes, right? Some of the people have surmised or tried to act like moving a colossal head required the efforts of maybe 1,500 people and taking approximately 3 to 4 months for it to arrive at its destination. When I show y'all, man, they always finding your stuff. Here go the excavations. This stuff was buried. A lot of stuff is buried. Just like water covered a lot. I'm gonna show y'all stuff that's in the museums. A lot of our kids never go to museums. And I tell all parents, stop taking your kids to damn Disney World entertainment. Take them to the museums so they can see some stuff that blow their mind. So they can see themselves in history. So they can see all the figures that's locked up in monuments. They can see the red silver fox thunderbird. Example of the Olmec hieroglyphs. When I tell Moors, when you got anybody alphabet, you can understand their language. I'm telling you, man. That's why when Moors become with that garbage and lies, I shut it down. I'm like, it's not scholarship. Because scholarship, no matter what color you are, we got to rock with scholarship. Look at these colossal heads. Look at these colossal heads. You don't let nobody tell you no different, man. You some damn African slave. Not all Olmec artifacts contain prominent Negroid features. I keep telling y'all that every Negro, black in color, or indigenous person don't have no fat nose. Y'all been think every person you see indigenous got a big fat nose. That's crazy. And everybody hair got to be kinky. That's dumb. That's dumb, Moors. You're not even using your brain. The great God Allah created a black bear and a polar bear, didn't he? Then he created a red bird, pigeons, damn bluebirds. Come on, man. Use your hippocampus and stop being so naive in the brain. The great God Allah is the creator of what? All things. Many historians want to dismiss that the Olmec were of a Negroid stock. Nonetheless, Moors, the study of art forms is a reliable indicator of the racial type of the communities in which the artworks were created. That's why I tell Moors we must fall under the right auspices so we can start taking our children to these museums. When I can take him to the museum in Louisiana, so y'all can see all the maps, the original maps of the Louisiana Purchase. When I can show y'all some stuff, the maps that I'll be showing y'all. When I can take y'all to other museums and they got all the Moors heads like y'all see on my turban. All the stuff that they have in collection. They take all your artifacts. You think they were just making all these artifacts? No, we were making our artifacts with jewels. We had the jewels, and they ramshacked our tombs. That's why I keep telling Moors, being poor ain't our nature. That's why I keep talking about being on no damn Section 8, on no welfare. That ain't our nature. You got to be crazy. That's why I keep telling Moors, it's nothing noble and honorable being poor and broke. We must come together under our nationality and spirituality. We are rich people. Man, we wore garments. Man, we wore jewels. You see this jewel on my turban? We weren't no poor people. You got to be crazy. We took care of ourselves, man. We had jewels all over our body. You got to be crazy. It's a connection between the Olmec and the other Mesoamerican cultures to the mound builders cultures of the United States, especially of the Mississippis, or what they are sometimes referred to the South Coast of the southern United States. Carving in stone Moors, metal tools, and ceremonial artifacts. Man, yeah, listen, Moors, when I was at Grand Canyon University, I told you, before I got my dual degrees, they took a lot of the scholars. We went to the Grand Canyons, and they got all the Egyptian, they got the marshals, some high military, you can't even go in the Grand Canyons. I'm gonna show you all the real artifacts that we got from school. They gave us all I got the whole, when it was in the newspaper and everything, I got the original newspaper from when they put it, when the Smithsonian tried to cover it up. And I'm gonna show you all the other science I got of the big bones, the Smithsonian covered up too. And they said they weren't gonna start in history until after Columbus started. I promise you this. So it's nothing new if it's scholarship when people be talking about stuff is hidden. I'm like, no, it's not hidden. This is old, man. This stuff is old. This stuff is old. So if we understand that, we move on and take our rightful place back in law. But the carvings in stone, metal tools, and ceremony artifacts, fragments of textiles, and works of the art share imagery with Mesoamerica sources. The pottery at Okmulgee, Ocmulgee, the National Monument in central Georgia. This is in central Georgia, Moors. It's virtually identical to the Maya plain red pottery made by Maya commoners. Look at it. I'm telling you, all you got to do is look at things, man. We must do this. The copy copied you. And every scholar and every educator know it. I promise you this stuff. I promise you this stuff. Look, I'm going to show you the Maya art, and then I'm going to show you the Mississippian art. And then you tell me what? You look at that. You look at both of those figures, Moors. Stop playing with me. And you're going to let somebody tell you it's something different? That's why our prophet said we Moorish Americans with Moroccan descent. You got to understand whatever hell catchphrase you want to use. Islam. So another similarity is the architecture. That's right. When you see the corn and the beans, look at the corn and the beans. You see that corn? Look at both figures and look at the corn and the beans. I'm gonna show you all this, man. Where you don't let nobody look at them pictures and look at that symbology. Reminder of who you are. You got to understand what our prophets and what our ancestors did in stone. You got to understand this. I can do this all over biblical history, everything, mathematics, masonry, everything to show you it all come from you. You don't dish your science. But look at the corn and the beans, whose origins are in Mexico, right? That's what they say. And was a defining characteristic of the Mississippian tribes, right? Most agronomists are convinced that corn, beans, and tobacco came to the natives of the United States and Canada from Mexico, right? Have y'all ever heard that? Have you ever heard that, Mom?
What?
That most agronomists, they convinced that corn, beans, and tobacco came to the natives of the United States and Canada from Mexico.
No, I don't know if I heard that.
You never heard that in school?
I was always taught that the Indians had maize, which was corn.
See? That's yeah, see? Well,
What?
but what I'm telling you is that's what they say, per se.
Is that the Indians had it first?
That the beans and tobacco came to the natives. They came to the natives of the United States and Canada from Mexico, but it was already here.
But I know I was taught that it was already.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So one of the most striking similarities, Moors, is the construction of the ancient cities of North America. When I show y'all, man, the map, the Louisiana Purchase, when I show y'all all the stuff that they tried to build there, and when I show you it's right here, it's built off of what we did. I'm telling you, man. There is a strong, just like, man, even in the White House, when I showed you how the Sultan came to the States, and then he brought one of the flowers that grow in the Ottoman Empire, and then they started planting it. I'll show y'all. But similarity in the agricultural forms and town plains between southern Mexico and the southeastern United States. And clearly, Moors, something was going on. Embossed copper, engraved marine shells, stone figures are all representatives of this pan-continental movement. Y'all got to understand what I'm saying? I'm telling you. And when you start seeing pictures of people, just like when I showed y'all Lois and Clark, when they was going over, man, they told you exactly what they saw in the Americas. In the Americas, copper color races. I'm telling you, man. We weren't no damn aliens. We weren't no aliens. All this pottery, all this sculpture we was doing. Oh, you think somebody European or something gonna make figures of somebody else? They may pay homage, but they ain't doing it as no mockery. I guarantee you that. And now you look at the lips and you see how, no disrespect, you see how the Europeans and the girls now, they trying to get the silicone in their lips to make their lips and stuff big. Look at the earring. Look at the big hole in the indigenous earring. And look how the Europeans and the rock and roll people doing the same thing now. Look what's on the head. So don't come to me with no garbage. The copy copied you. And we must know our history before anything. You must know this, man. I'm gonna show y'all a page from Yucatan, before and after the conquest, showing Mayan hieroglyphics. I'm gonna show y'all some stuff. This scholarship, and when you have someone alphabet, you can connect the language. I promise you. Why? The signs and symbols, just like Hebrew and Arabic or Aramaic. You must understand the signs and symbols and the indentions, how to pronunciate the words and where to put certain things and certain figures and certain indentions. I promise you, man. I promise you this. You got the two ways of the white people. You got the white people in one point, and after Indian boarding schools. Look how, remember I told y'all how they changed Pocahontas and they changed their name to Rebecca? I'm telling you, man, this is history. Y'all got to get out of this westernized Euro. I told you we can destroy Eurocentric pseudo-academia from what? From scholarship and love. I guarantee you. Because if the great God, Allah, didn't want us to know our history, it wouldn't be recorded. This before and this after some Christian school. Look what they do. They strip you from your nationality. They strip you from your indigenous. You don't know who you are. After boarding school. Y'all didn't understand what they was doing in boarding school? I'm trying to tell you, man. That's why the religious laws protect you. More talk about they don't have no religion. Yeah, okay. You a fool. You a fool. Everything is a copy. Big mounds in the 1800s. Big statue, big mounds today per se. Telling you, man, we do history. Prehistory. I don't even want to dig too long in that. Now look at this one. I'm gonna show y'all a little bit of part 2. Because the history is there. All these pictures, man, when I show y'all in the monuments, when you be thinking, when they try to whitewash them and you get the originals, you see the Europeans coming to the indigenous people asking permission. I'm telling you, asking permission. 2 Negroid cultures. This was bartering and trading. These right here was 2 Negro cultures, bartering and trading. I'm telling you, if somebody say they want to grow up in cave and live with dinosaurs, let them have that garbage. Let them have that garbage. Indigenous Americans being presented to the King and Queen of Spain. Telling you, man. So I don't want to stick all in that science. Principal chief of Hispaniola. I mean, you got so much, man, of your history, of who we are, and maps. But I want us to know this. I want y'all to get a good picture of that with what you see, that image. You were never on the bottom. Never was. Only way you'll be on the bottom unless you accept it. I promise you that. See, we on good time. Now we get to the meat and potatoes, Moors. Thanks for the donation, Moors. It's Cash App $KG Bay. Now, if I just got to talking about the Olmecs, and you understand that the Olmecs were of Mali, you know that, right? Right? And watch I connect ancient names and modern paleo, just like when I tell y'all, Moabite, Moroccan, Moor, Mohammedan, all the same, modern and ancient. And then the Moabite is an Israelite. I'm telling y'all from the same stock. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. But you letting Negroes, religious people, your own brothers and sisters get you caught up in something like y'all Crips and Bloods. And I tell you, that's sad. This is the uniting of Asia. We teach science. We understand the theory. So when I'm telling you that the Olmecs were Mali, you understand, you know what that make them? Do y'all Moors know what that make them? Do you know what that make them? If I'm gonna tell you that the Moors, if I'm gonna tell you that the Olmecs were of Mali, what that make them? You gotta remember, I'm telling you, you gotta start connecting ancient words and modern words, and you will start connecting the linguistics. We just did it. No, not Dogon. No. Remember to listen with the science I'm telling you. Stay in the context. I stated that the Olmecs were of Mali. So doesn't that make them what? What we're talking about today. Remember, we got to talk about today. What are we today? I'm telling you, man. This is where when I say we don't separate nothing, and we get out of the tribal game, and we get into nationality. We understand culture, we understand tribe, but we get into, thank you, Todd's Workman, that's right. Moors, that's right, thank you. That's where I'm trying to get us to get to. All my brothers that's under a Hebrew Israelite religion, or God's of earth religion, or a Buddhism religion, or whatever, or Egyptian religion. I understand that. I'm an adept. But you got to understand one thing I'm telling you. All Moors, we have only one nationality. And your religion and your culture, whatever, is not your nationality. That's what I'm trying to get us to understand. Once we understand that, man, that's all we need to do. We can walk out the door in synchronicity. We got to understand that. Absolutely. Moors. And the Olmecs were indeed, what type of Moors were they? They were Malian Moors. Just like you got Spanish Moors, just like you got European Moors, just like you got what type of Moors we are, Moors Americans. Come on, man. They were Malian Moors, and the Mayans were descendants of the Malian Moors, and were often referred to as what? The Black Mexicans, or the what? Quetzalcoatls. I might be pronunciating it wrong, but it's spelled Quetzalcoatl. Islam? And there are ancient Mexican wall paintings that depict these Negroid kings and rulers as unmistakably African. Let me show y'all a picture of some. I'll blow some up later, but I'm just going to show a quick picture. You got the Black Mayans of Mexico, pre-Columbian America.
Are you talking about that serpent thing?
That what, Ma?
That serpent thing?
What are you talking about?
Like, what is it called?
Yeah. Watch. I'm going to show y'all a little picture of one. I'll blow them up, but if Moore's want the bigger pictures, I'm going to show y'all the bigger pictures and I can break the pictures down. You got to understand the pictures you was looking at. And then I'm going to show you the Black Moors in the walls of the Mayan temples. Let me try to blow a couple of them up. I'll show y'all a couple of them. And then I'm going to show y'all the Hebrews and the Egyptians when I show you the attire. And the only difference you can tell, if you have the lexicon, you understand what girdle mean, and the only difference was the clothing and the attire. Because the Egyptians wore like a linen, and the Hebrews wore like a different material, like robes per se. But you have to see it. I'm telling you, man, this is their writings, their hieroglyphs. When people be trying to act like it's no proof. Like they can't find nothing, but they want you to believe it's some fake gospel. They want you to get rid of your culture and tell you that your tattoos and your jewelry, your earrings is a sin, and believe some garbage. And we're just gonna get rid of our culture. You got to be crazy, man. You got to be crazy. And I can blow these up bigger, but I want to stay in the pictures because I just wanted to show a little bit. But you can pull all this stuff up. This is a bearded ruler, has an audience with visitor wearing a bird headdress, accompanied by twin attendants in black wearing feather headdresses. The mirror is in either a basket or a ceramic painted to imitate a basket. I'm telling you, man. So, I don't want to stay too bit in the picture because I want to finish demonstrating that before I can get done. But what you must understand, Moors, is that the Moors were the people who built the Great Pyramids, Moors, all over South America, Peru, Canada, Alaska, Georgia, that scatter all throughout North America along the Mississippi River and its tributaries are found mounds built out of tons and tons of earth moors, and the people who built them were called the mound builders, and they were the descendants of the Malian Moors, the Olmecs. And these Moors eventually migrated to North America from Mexico and became known as what? What our empress will tell you? Washita, Yamanese, and the Ben Ishmael, that tribe, the Ben Ishmael tribe, was a collection of what is now known as Lenape, Wadapo, and Nanaco Indians who migrated to India and Illinois and referred to themselves as Moors. Self-identity, they referred to themselves as Moors, even though the United States government continued to classify them as Negroes in order to strip them of their indigenous rights. I can show you old maps, man, and like stuff they don't want to show you. When you have lake, you probably can't see this because it's small, but I'll show you stuff, man, where it'll blow your mind. There's nothing new under the sun when you're a scholar. I can show you right here on the bottom of this map. You can see the tribe of Ishmael migration, 1785 to 1905. Look at that on the bottom. You probably can't see it. It's kind of getting blurry, but it's right there. I'm telling you. That's the tribe of Ishmael, the migration, circa 1785 to 1905. And it often not talked about, but the Moors had enslaved the Europeans before they enslaved blacks. I'm telling you, man, this is just scholarship. It is what it is. Their women were sold like commodities into their harems and as concubines of the wealthy Moors. And this is the reason why the Moorish nobles were for the most part bleached out and became known as what? The tawny Moors, Turks and Arabs, which are no more than fixed mulatto races. I'm telling you, man, you don't got to listen to me. This also is the reason for the Moors and the coats of arms for the noble European families. I'm telling you, man, the Moor coats of arms, the Europe and the African Moors, they know I'm telling the truth. So you can't deny scholarship, man. The so-called black nobility of Europe and the Bilderberger group, the European nations paid tribute to the Moors well into the 18th century Moors. I hope y'all writing this down in the book. In the book, here I go again, giving y'all books. Here I go again, I'm giving y'all books. When I told y'all, all the history is in the books. They try to whitewash you out the history, but I ain't gonna play that. That scholarship. In the book, the United States and Barbary powers, the English, French, Dutch, Danes, and Swedish, and may I say, all nations are tributary to the Moors. Remember, David McRitchie in the book Ancient and Modern Britons says that the word blackmail is the result of the tribute paid to the black army or the black oppressors, as the English referred to them, and the Moors had control of the Atlantic and the Mediterranean. And this is why the Marines sing the defeating the Moors from the halls of Montezuma, which is Mexico, to the shores of Tripoli, confirming in the song the extent of the Moorish Empire or the dominions of Amexima or Atlantis. Don't y'all know this? I'm gonna show y'all one of the first pages of the Moroccan Treaty of 1787. You gotta understand, and you gotta note this, that Shakespeare's most famous Moor, Othello, is also described as a black African. Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin worked closely with the Moors in the Continental Congress to secure this treaty. Moors. In the Bevans collection, the Bevans collection, I hope y'all understand where I'm giving y'all science so you can stop all the garbage from any goofball. But in the Bevans collection, there are over 200 letters to the Bey of Morocco from the Continental Congress. And there were many Moors in the Continental Congress working with the European Masons, originally taught by the Moors, to form a Novus Ordo Seclorum, or a new secular order of the ages, the e pluribus unum, out of many peoples and nations, one. The Moroccan treaty is very powerful, Moors, because according to the Constitution, treaties are the law of the land, right? So watch, I'm gonna show y'all. I'm finna show y'all everywhere, no disrespect, but I got to say what I got to say because I'm coming from scholarship, and I debunked that Eurocentric propaganda in college. When I one of my demonstrations, when I went to all the museums, I was in a doctoral library for months. They was acting like they didn't know who I was. Every time I was going, they wanted to see my ID. But what I was going to prove is to show how all in the academia, in their whitewashed books, how they took all the artifacts that was black and indigenous and redid them and made them modern and made them pale. All of them. And made them pale. And then a lot of the religions and the churches, they got the real artifacts hidden somewhere. But not today. We ain't finna play that. That's why I said the great God Allah is good. Why? Because you got to tell your story. The loser can't tell your story. And that's what I prove. I also prove that the Bible is proof that the Asiatic man is the father of civilization. So I'm going to show you the fake European Montezuma, and then I'm going to show y'all the real Montezuma with the headdress. Look how they whitewash everything. Just like I told y'all, look up the god Artemis in the book, and I'll show y'all in the Bible the story, Paul on the road to Damascus, how he's going to Asia, which is Africa, and how he's going to try to colonize the indigenous people. You see that? You see the whitewashing? Everything is whitewashed, and it's just what it is. And the real Montezuma of the Aztec Empire was not a white man per se. He was a black Mexican Moor. This is facts, man. This is facts. We got to stop giving our credit to some European and letting somebody tell us what's ancient and what's historical, and it's nothing ancient about them. This picture don't even look at the picture. Look at this. Look at this, man. That don't even look ancient. Look at the attire, and then look at this brother attire. Look at the royalty. Look at the royalty, the chiefdom. Man, let me tell y'all something, man. I'm from Flint, Michigan, and my dad used to take me and my brother to kill Jelani Goodman Bay. May Allah carry his soul and spirit. Man, I did not know. Look, the barbershop my dad used to take it to, it was called Mac's Barbershop. And in the barbershop, man, they had all these pictures of these African kings in the background. See, we was little, and every day I used to be staring at them pictures like, damn, I ain't never seen no African men with feathers and gold. And then me and my dad was talking one day, and I'm like, Dad, that picture in the barbershop, in Mac's Barbershop, was Mansa Musa. And he was like, yeah. He was like, you remember Budweiser did a whole campaign on the damn African kings back in the day? Y'all don't remember that? Research it. With Budweiser, the beer, they did a whole damn campaign on their beer back in the day of all the damn African kings. All of them. And my barber had all the African kings all lined up in his barbershop, in their royalty, in their chiefdom back then. And Budweiser did a whole damn special, I don't know if it was Christmas or whatever, but look it up. Look it up. And they showed you who the American was. Budweiser didn't know what they was doing. Yes, they did. Hell. But the treaty specifically deals with Moors. And then the question may arise, Moors. How do we know?
I think Budweiser did that.
What'd you say, Ma?
I think Budweiser did that because of, what was it, Ebony Magazine? Because the pictures came out of Ebony Magazine.
My mom said Budweiser probably did that because the pictures came out of Ebony Magazine, and she said they was working with them.
Yeah, because Ebony Magazine was talking about how different companies could advertise, but they weren't advertising when the black community are looking at and getting that black dollar. So they started advertising
to get that black dollar.
Yeah, with Ebony, and Ebony had them. They did that, sponsored that series.
So pretty much they sponsored that for the black
Kings and Queens.
On Black Kings and Queens for Negroes and go buy that Budweiser. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Just like they're using entertainment or somebody to market some damn cheap liquor or some clothes. So how do we know that where the treaty says Moors, that so-called black people of that time is being referred to? So in that treaty, people ask, how do we know in that treaty when it says Moors that the so-called black people of that time is being referred to? So the Moors were considered citizens, right? Yeah, what you say from, here you go, R. Smith. See, that's why I love my brothers that look up scholarship. That's what you got your smartphone for. He said, mine right here from 1984 to 1990, they did a 28 poster set of kings and queens of Africa.
Was it in ebony?
But I think that was Budweiser did that.
I know, but were they in ebony or in conjunction with ebony magazine?
Were they in conjunction with Ebony magazine, Moors? Do you know? You said to 1990, yeah. Yep. She said, yeah, man.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. You see what I'm saying, Moors? But they did that just to get your dollars, not to educate you.
But ebony had them do that.
But Ebony had them do it.
So that so they could show that they were, it was like an education thing.
So pretty much it was like an education thing.
Even though in exchange.
In exchange for some of that paper. Yeah. But that's a good trade-off, hell.
Yeah, it was like a trade-off.
Okay. So the Moors were considered citizens, right? Or part of what? We the people who ratified the Constitution. Watch this. It says, thus, an act was passed in Massachusetts on the 6th of March, 1788. Listen, Moors, forbidding any Negro, not a subject of the Emperor of Morocco, or a citizen of the United States from tarrying in the Commonwealth. Now, what we talking about when I say that Dred Scott law, Negro, black, and color, you were going to always be a slave, you weren't never going to be a citizen. And then remember I told y'all, it's two. When you got these Negroes making these cars talk about some, on their ID, some Free Sundry Moore Act, I'm like, you're not no citizen of Morocco. You a Moorish American citizen. You got to understand this. The 1788, listen to this, forbidding any Negro, not a subject of the Emperor of Morocco, or is a conjunction, is adding, right, mama?
Right.
Or, so it's meaning this or that, or both, either or. Are we clear? Or a citizen of the United States from tarrying in the Commonwealth. This for one showed that those who were referred to as Negroes were actually Moors, and that they were on the same footing or status as state citizens. Those who remember that they were Moors, what you mean remember? Proclaim, declare, and have due process. You done got amnesia. Think you some damn Negro slave from Africa. Those who remember that they were Moors. Those who remember that they were Moors. Those who remembered that they were Moors used the Moroccan Treaty of 1787. The Moroccan Treaty of 1787. The Moroccan Treaty of 1787 to secure their rights on the same footing as the state citizens without otherwise being obligated members of their social equality. While those who were brainwashed into believing they were Negroes, descendants of Africans brought here by the Europeans, were unprotected by the Moroccan Treaty, as well as the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution, Moors. This document says a petition was presented to the House from the sundry free Moors, subject of the Emperor of Morocco, and residents in this state, When I say you're Moroccan descent, that's why it makes you a Moorish American. Praying that in this case, they should commit any fault to be brought to justice, that they, as subjects to a prince here in North America, in alliance with the United States of America, via the Moroccan Treaty of 1787, may be tried under the same laws as the citizens of that state would be liable to be tried, and not under the Negro Act, which was received and read. So when you got these goofballs talk about some Moorish consulate, I bet you they ain't gonna read that act about if a citizen of America kill a Moor and vice versa. Y'all getting caught up in garbage. Thus you had Moors back in 1789 saying what we say now, that our nationality is Moorish and not Negro, color, or black.
I'm hoping y'all know this. I'm gonna show y'all original painting of the black Mohawk Indians in Moorish garb. Let me show y'all stuff, man. So when y'all don't get it twisted. So when somebody be showing you some modern garbage, we go in their libraries, and I'll show you what they have, what they pray to, and what they lock up from you. Because they want you to believe in a false image. They're gonna tell you not to make an image of your Messiah. Why? Because they don't want you to remember him. That's why. I got the Morocco, the peace and friendship, the Moroccan treaty with the United States in 1787. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that we don't know. Let me see, we on good time. So when Moors be asking about some African slave trade, and much of the so-called African slave trade was fabricated. And when Moors be like, so you saying it ain't no slave trade? That ain't what I said. That ain't what I said. That's why we deal with scholarship and not feelings. I said a lot of it was fabricated. And sources showing that the so-called Indians on the eastern seaboard, also called Terra Nova, Terranova, were Moors. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna reveal everything to y'all because most Negroes do not read. In a book, it's called Africans and Native Americans by Jack D. Forbes. He shows in that book how many so-called Native American Indians were sold into slavery in Africa and Europe. And this is the opposite direction in which we were taught the slave trade went in, y'all. See, these Native Americans or Indians were classified as Negroes and blacks in the slave books of Seville, Spain, and elsewhere. And on page 29 of that book, he says, and I quote, slaves from Terra Nova show up in the slave markets of Seville and Valencia very soon after 1500. For example, Moors in Valencia during the period of 1516, we find in 1503 Miguel, Maine, in 1505 Juan and Pedro, in 1507 Antonio and Juan Amarco, in 1515 Ali, now Melchor, in 1516 Catalina. They were all classified as Negroes. Do y'all hear me? If we were first brought to North America around 1619, they say, or even 1515, that they say, for that matter, then how were they taking slaves from the Newfoundland to Europe? You ain't never thought about that? Keep in mind, Moors, that one of the Native Americans even had the name Ali. A Native American had the name of Ali. And all were classified as Negroes, Moors, once they reached Valencia. And how did a Native American in 1515 have the Moorish name Ali? Huh? I'm going to show y'all Moulay Ashi Zarif, the Moroccan prince of Tesvalida. I'm going to show y'all Duke Alessandro de Medicia. And I'm going to show y'all Alfonso, the ruler of Castile, Galicia, and Leon. I'm going to show y'all these three pictures of these brothers that I'm going to move forward. They got pictures of us, man, in the monuments. Look at the brother in the middle. He looked like that one singer. I forget his name, with that big nose. I forget the brother name. And they're going to try to act like we wasn't the people. Man, stop playing. And every time you see us Mohammedans or us Moors or our Maroons, we always got our fez and our turbans and our national headdress. Always on. We always got our headdress on with our jewels and our turbans. Look at me. Come on, man. We rocking out, baby. But at least 3,000 Americans, or so-called Indians, are known to have been shipped to Europe between 1493 and 1501 Moors. The Columbus expeditions, with the likely tolling being possibly double that. Most were sent to Seville area, where they seemed to show up in the slave markets as Negroes. And these are major contradictions to the whole slave trade myth, Moors. Blacks were always in America. The missing Indians are Negroes. The slaves sold on the slave markets in the South were initially the black people from right here in this hemisphere. And as they took the lands here, Moors, they enslaved the inhabitants of those lands who were black. Research the doctrine of the discovery, Moors. I'm telling you. The tens of millions of Americans, or the so-called Indians, who disappeared after 1492. They ain't all died in no damn Holocaust inflicted within America. Many thousand were sent to Europe and Africa as slaves. And the whole slave trade myth is that the whole story was given to us in reverse, Moors. I'm telling you. A mass colony of Africans were not shipped from Africa to America. Y'all got to know that. I told y'all Alex Haley lied about that damn, that roots garbage. He was sued, the European colander. All that shit is garbage. Alex Haley, the ancestor wasn't no damn Kunta Kinte. He made all that garbage up, all fake. They were then shipped from Spain to Africa as commodity for African resources. And these black Indians, now mistaken as Africans, were shipped back to America and classified as African slaves. And this part of our history is what the school system failed to mention in their programs. I can show you conquistadors capturing black Arawaks to take back to Spain to be slaves. I can show you all the Spanish hanging black Moors and then skewering the serve heads in public for people can see. Just like when I tell y'all about Oliver Cromwell. I'm telling you, man. And then people say, am I saying that there was no slave trade? I said, I ain't never say that. It was a kidnapping of Africans from Africa to America. We know that. But however, it was a result of the mass shipment and slaughter of Moors in America at the hands of Columbus expeditions per se. And Columbus' first journey in 1492 was a mission to capture gold. But he was sidestruck or tracked by the presence of the black Moors. And Columbus sent word back to the monarchs of Spain that we were here. And what he referred to in his logs as the people of the Queen Sheba. I'm telling you. And Columbus kidnapped Arawak Indians along with gold nuggets, exotic birds, and grains. And Queen Isabella provided Columbus with 17 ships, 1,500 men, cannons, crossbows, guns, attack dogs for his second voyage. And Columbus' new mission was to conquer the West. And when Columbus returned to the West, which was Haiti and South America in 1493, he not only took raw material and resources, but he abducted women. And after a short time, Moors, the Arawak resisted Columbus. And on March 25th, 1495, Columbus slaughtered thousands of Arawak natives of men, women, and babies. And Columbus also rounded up 1,500 Arawak and shipped them to Spain. And now, this is the real American history. Columbus became the first man known in history to send the first slaves across the Atlantic. Other nations rushed to copy Columbus. And in 1501, the Portuguese began to depopulate the Butuk, the B-E-O-T-U-K Indians to Cape Verde as slaves. And the black Indian slaves destroyed the Indian nations of the Nashegs, the N-A-T-C-H-E-Z, the Yamanese, and the Pequots. And because of this fact, Moors, the first African slave raid took place in 1505 and was spearheaded by Columbus's son. Y'all didn't know that, did y'all? That's right. When the Moors, classified as Indians of America, began dying and committing suicide, the labor was replaced with slaves from the Sahara in West Africa. Also, the gold and silver that Columbus extracted from America fueled a 4,000% inflation that eroded the economies of non-European nations and helped Europe to develop a global market system. And Africa suffered a great economical blow. And the trans-Saharan trade collapsed because America supplied more precious gems than the African West Coast. And African traders now only had one commodity that Europeans wanted. That was the slave. And African Sultan thus sold their own black people into slavery to the whites. And it is safe to say that Columbus is solely responsible for the slavery of the Moors from the west to the east and from the east to the west. Blood money. I'm gonna show y'all the bottom of a half of an African slave ship, and these ships were called big bottoms, as they were constructed to hold hundreds of Africans packed in like sardines. And these trips to Africa, to America, took up 3 to 4 months. It took up 3 to 4 months from east to west. 3 to 4 months, man, everybody would be dead. And according to history, these hundreds of Africans, listen, they urinated on themselves during the journey. For months of constant urination, these slaves would have literally drowned. This story don't make no damn sense, Moors. Are y'all listening to what I'm telling y'all? This journey, man, Africa to America took up to 3 to 4 months from east to west. Are y'all listening to me? So how did the Dogons or the Malian Moors or the Olmecs, how did they arrive in America, you may ask? Well, the Dogons were already on American land, Moors, because they simply sailed over by way of wind and currents. When I tell you how winds and currents, y'all got to understand this. When I talk about seafaring, the first of Americans or Africans to set foot on American soil were in fact the Dogons of Mali, who used such currents as the Canary and the North Equilateral Current that recycles from West Africa to America, just like how Alexander the Greek got from the Aegean to the Ixan Sea, how he got from Europe to Africa or Asia, Moors, from West Africa to America and into the upper Atlantic Ocean. And this was before the invention of sails, Moors. And the Guiana or the Guiana current flows eastward along the Ghana coast with frequent cycles out to the sea, where it joins the South Equatorial. The second group of Africans to land in America were under the leadership of Abu Khari in 1311 and had mixed with the Olmecs and became known as Washo, W-A-S-H-O. The third group of Africans to land in America's soil were the Idrises, the I-D-R-I-S, who were the ruling dynasty of southern Morocco and Mauritania, who came into Morocco before the invasion by the Dogon Malians and the Senegalese. These group of Moors arrived in 1727 with Mansa Khan Musa, who was searching for his ancestors of Abu Khari. When I show y'all maps, and let me show y'all old maps and things and currents so we can be clear. Like, this ain't no joke, man. We almost done. We in good time. That's the African wind and the tides and the currents showing travel. See, a lot of Moors don't know what they're looking at. Like when you look at the maps, you can see certain winds and currents of which way they go and how you can travel. Just like stars can tell you which way to travel. I also mentioned earlier the tribe called Washita Moor. Was this a Native American tribe? And where are they now, people ask. But the Washita were direct descendants of the Olmecs, who mixed with the Malian Moors. The name Washita comes from the Washita River, which flows along West Texas and Oklahoma to the Red River, where the Cheyenne Native Americans live with the Choctaw, meaning raccoon people. The Wasu were a tribe of Negroids who lived above the New Orleans Bayou and were of Tunican linguistic stock. The name Washita is a derivative of the term Quahita or Aquatia, O-U-A-C-H-I-T-A, or what is now Wichita or Wichita or Wichita. The term is a Choctaw term, which means big arbor, which represents the grass thatched arbor homes that the people lived in, Moors. And the Washita was originally from the lower Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama. When I talk about the fake Louisiana Purchase, it was named after the Nubian Sudanese Ali Baba. The tribe was officially named Wichita by the U.S. government in Camp Holmes Treaty of 1835. Research Camp Holmes Treaty of 1835, Moors. This tribe were unmistakably a Negroid tribe. The Wichita were also known as Pinawasawa, P-A-N-I-W-A-S-S-A-H-A, or by the French Panusa, which means Black Pawnee. French traders from Illinois called them Pawnee Peak, P-A-N-I-P-I-Q-U-E, which means tattooed Pawnee. The Washita or raccoon people were called raccoons because of their black faces. And when describing the Washita Moors, the French described the blacks who lived in large grass houses. The Washitas called themselves Kiktikish, K-I-T-I-K-I-T-I-S-H, which is an interpretation of raccoon-eyed. The term was later shortened to coon, which became a term used in reference to blacks in America. The Washita were an offshoot of the Pawnee Confederation. And when the Moors came to America, family, they mixed with the Washita Native Americans and became known as Wasso. So the Washita Moors are the so-called lost tribe of Indians that are spoken of in the history books. Indeed, Moors. They are the hidden tribe that was the descendants of the Olmecs and the Toltecs of Mexico. And the Washita tribes are also the ancestors to such tribes as the Pawnee, the Osage, the Creek, the Seminole, Cherokee, Catawba, Comanche, Okomachi, the Nez Perch, the Tazarawa, the Ginaskin, Mattaponi, Pohanin, I might be pronunciating it wrong, the Micmac, the Lumbee, the Mandan, the Blackfoot, the Naschek, the Chickasaw, and many other tribes. People ask me, were blacks Indians sold into slavery? Were the black Indians ever sold into slavery? But the misconception is that the black Indians were never taken into slavery. And this is not the case. Black Indians were also captured and sold into slavery, Moors, along with their African cousins. The land of the black Indians were taken. Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Illinois, Florida, Delaware, Tennessee, Kansas, Iowa, India, all belong to the Washita Moors. Y'all know that, right? The land was invaded by the French and the British. The women were sold as sex slaves, and the men were sold into slavery as Negroes. And the U.S. government even persuaded the Red Indian tribes to own slaves. Y'all know that, right? The Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Creek, and the Chickasaw tribes all agreed to slaveholding of the black Indians and Africans. The only tribe to resist the ideal of slavery was the Seminole tribe. The Seminoles rejected the idea because they were the descendants of African explorers, Moors, who settled in Florida and mixed with the Muskogee refugees who had mixed with the Spanish. They called themselves runaways. And these black Seminoles who settled in the swampy terrain of Florida established cultivation methods that were identical to that of the methods of Sierra Leone in Africa. Georgia slaveholders were soon invading Florida looking for runaway slaves and were soon met with opposition with the Seminoles. I'm telling y'all, man. I can go deep and deep with the teachers, man, but we're going to end it right there, man. Just to let y'all know, man, we have a rich history. And you have a deep Moorish legacy. But I'm going to leave it with that, man. I hope Moors really put it on their heart, and Allah have it on their heart, to become members and students so we can build this temple in Arizona. We can have all our computers and everything, teaching our children history, finances, spirituality, understanding who they are as Moorish Americans, wearing our fez and our turbans, wearing our own clothing that we make. Any questions, man? We're done. Any Moors have any questions? Like I said, class is gonna pick back up as soon as our new students receive their feds and their books. And I told y'all, man, I'm steady courting Moors. We're building our web page, and like I said, in a minute, no teachings will be on YouTube or IG. It'll be a little snippet. It's gonna direct you right to our web page. All our books, merchandise, hats, messages will be right on our page. Our members and students, you'll have free access. Anybody else, it's donations, man. And you should want to be to help. If not, this is not for you, and I understand that too. Any questions, Morris? Okay, I got you, bro. I guess we don't have no questions. That's good. It's always good. I guess, Morris, I hope we get an understanding. Because once we start breaking down this law and this history, especially the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment, we break our nationality down. There's nothing illegal about Moorish science, Morris. Clean glass next to a dirty glass. So with that being said, if there's no questions, man, I love everybody, man. And Islam. Like I said, Morris, we back shipping our items out. Get your hats, get your books. Continue to learn, continue to read your science every day. Because once classes start back, it's going to be systematic. And like I said, Morris, next year, we're going to be off YouTube. But with that being said, man, Islam.